What I will say is this. The man won the election. The American people have spoken. What the hell are you doing on Capitol Hill, acting like you're still on the campaign trail, talking about him like there are votes at stake? He's your president now. You have to sit up there and say, I hope he does well for this country. I hope he does the kind of things he says he's going to do.
What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy, You Just Got Juice, back at it again with another video. If this is your first time here, please make sure to subscribe, like, and leave a comment on the video below, and please make sure to check out one of my other videos. Today I woke up, I wake and bake, and then I hop on YouTube. The first thing I seen was this Stephen A. Smith on Fox News, so I decided to click on it because it's Stephen A. Smith. So I just wanted to sit back and see what he had to say, and yeah, give my opinions on it. So with all being said, let's see.
I really want to understand. I was talking about Joe's cognitive decline before the 2020 election. I was excoriated for pointing it out. The media beat the hell out of me for pointing it out. What is it, about now that your eyes opened up? I told you about their policies failing. We showed everybody the border. We talked about the economy. We talked about war in Europe, war in the Middle East. We talked about their weakness in regarding America's position in the world. What part of my commentary did you miss?
And you know what's crazy? If he did say that, sometimes I guess Fox News can be right. I mean, just because they are a Republican news network and they do speak a lot of bullshit, it don't mean every once in a while that they don't come out with some actual news. And then us as American people, we should have known Joe Biden wasn't going to last that long once we seen him fall up the stairs in the Air Force One or falling off the bike. I mean, he was already looking like a weak man. Nothing against him and stuff, but the people, he was on the news falling and stumbling, so the people already knew like he was old and weak. So why would he think he was going to win a second term? He got selfish, and he didn't think about the American people. He didn't think about the black people, the other Democrats. So he didn't give a fuck about us. So he blatantly showed that shit, man. Because if he did, he would have stepped down. He wouldn't have even been running for the president for a second term. But he thought he had it in the bag because he like, oh, I could beat Trump. But it didn't work that time, bro. And then on top of that, I think Trump, if allegedly they saying he rigged the votes, I don't know nothing about that. They said that last night on Twitter that he admitted that Elon helped rig the election. I don't know, you know how Trump just talks shit, but I don't think it's going to be as scary as it was last time, because his policies is actually something that I could stand by. I mean, not all of them, but so far, I mean, he's standing on business, man. And then a lot of problems that we having right now, you do your research, came from the Democrats. So just because we black, again, we don't always gotta vote Democrats, man. Sometimes, I mean, I did vote for Kamala, but I did show my support trying to put a black woman in office, but I knew she wasn't the right candidate for this term anyway. I mean, yeah, it was either Trump or her, and I voted for her. I admit I voted for her by default just to try to get a black woman in office, but I didn't really care for her, and I fucking laugh. Like that shit, I couldn't deal with that for 4 years, and yeah, I couldn't deal with that fucking laugh, but I did show my support. But overall, I do think this time Trump was the better candidate. I mean, look, if fucking Hillary couldn't become president, why did Kamala think that she was going to become president before a white woman? I mean, I'm just being real. if the white woman couldn't make it, the mixed Indian woman supposed to make it. I mean, I'm just saying, man.
Well, first of all, it was coming from you, so I'm inclined to ignore it half the time because you know how I hate agreeing with you. That's number one.
And again, and these are just my opinions. I'm not saying I'm right, not saying I'm wrong. Just my opinions, based upon my views, based upon what I've seen growing up in life. So.
Number two, I think that, one of the things that's inescapable is that you talk about things, you talk about inflation, there was inflation under Trump. You talk about spending, there was some spending under Republicans. But in the end, here's what it comes down to. We looked at Biden as a problem. You were supposed to be a transitional president. You ended up trying to run. You embarrassed yourself by going on the debate stage June 27th. What we found.
And then, again, like, the fucking debate, bro. Like, Biden knew he couldn't keep up with that shit, so why even try? Like, just take your 4 years and just go. I know you was trying to, I get what he was trying to do, but you should have known that wasn't gonna happen, bro. It's just like, America, y'all supposed to be this tough country, and that wasn't a, yeah, it wasn't showing tough, bro. You showing like, all right, man, we could push your ass over and break your little bones, and just look fragile and weak, man. And it was embarrassing. And like I said, I don't know all that is about politics, but when you look on the screen, I never seen a president do that shit since I've been born. And I'm 38 years old. I've never seen nobody as weak as that before. Not saying nothing about his character, nothing like that, but yeah, man, he should have been stepped away.
Found out post-election is how so many people on the left were a part of it. When you think about and you hear about what Biden's position is and how he and his family don't necessarily vibe with Nancy Pelosi anymore. They feel betrayed. They wondered about what they feel about Obama, even though former President Barack Obama put out that very nice tweet about Joe Biden a couple of days ago. We see Kamala Harris and some of the things that they're saying about her now, and they weren't saying it before. You're hearing how, and then you see the media, as you say, the media. And what are people doing? They're jumping down to Mar-a-Lago to kiss his ring. They're trying to make sure that he's not going to be targeting them. All of a sudden, you don't hear racists now. You don't hear associations with Nazis and Hitler and all of this other stuff. They're like, wait a minute here. You were sitting around convincing everybody and their grandmama that this dude was just completely unfit, the worst scourge of the earth that you could find. And now suddenly that you find yourself in this position, it's not like you're Michelle Obama, who wasn't, who likes not to be at the inauguration, or Nancy Pelosi. Instead, now you've got people kissing his you-know-what. And I'm looking at that and I'm saying,
no, they're kissing the ring, they're kissing his ass.
Never listen to y'all.
That's how they're sucking on toes. I'll agree with you. It's pretty disgusting. People that didn't support him and probably will turn on him on a dime. But here's what you watched last night. You watched the farewell address, and you said it is sad. Mm-hmm. And I inferred from that what you were saying is you're sad because he is a sad figure. He is a shadow of his former self.
Yes.
And my question to you, you are very smart, you are intelligent, you are articulate, you're combative.
And again, back in the day, Joe Biden, he was that guy, man. I mean, he had these little controversial problems when he was younger. But again, if this was Biden 10 years ago, man, he would have easily won that second term twice. But again, like from the stories from the stories that I was told, Obama, like I heard the Democratic Party been wanting this guy to step down. So it maybe is a little bit more behind it, but overall, where's all the hate towards Trump now? Again, he's right. Everybody kissing this man's ass, man. It's crazy, bro. It is crazy. Like, I watched the inauguration today. Oh, so awkward, so different. I'll talk about that in another video.
I love you. However, why I played montage after montage after montage on this program for years. You have seen them. How did you miss it? How did you possibly miss it?
because it was on Fox News, and we don't watch Fox News because y'all be kissing Trump's ass and sucking his dick and shit, man. And so that's why we don't like. People don't watch Fox News because it's just too exaggerated, and then we know y'all was all Republican, but now we gonna have to kind of tune in a little bit because like now that's the crazy part. I gotta start. I gotta start watching Fox News now because now we know that CNN and NBC they all gonna be on the hate train. So because like we know what to expect now, but it's like it's a new 4 years. Let's just see where it go this time before we jump on the train like, oh my God, this is going to be the worst thing ever. Is it really though? Because maybe certain things need to go back to an old way. Because the left was the people that brought us the woke culture and the Me Too, and then I think they just kind of ran that shit into the ground, and then people tired of that shit, man. I'm black, and I'm tired of seeing some of that shit sometimes, man. Cause it's depressing, man. And we see it see it every fucking day, in every neighborhood, every state. And it's like, yeah, it's cool to show support, but is it what changes is it gonna do? We don't start changing from like MFN. So we don't start with ourselves. How do we expect the rest of the world to change, man? So again, that's another topic for another video.
Hold it.
Hold it what?
Let me answer. First of all, don't try that with me. I called Joe Biden out a year before the election. I got raked through the coals right along with you. When you got raked through the coals, I was
3
right
years
there.
later.
Everybody was like, "What are you talking about? You don't know anything." Excuse me. It was like two years later. But the bottom line is, I was right there the year before the election. Okay, that's number one. Number two, when I talked about Kamala Harris and voting for her, what I said is I didn't want chaos replicating what we saw in his first term. I figured you got the House, you can win the House, you can win the Senate. You'll have people that can literally position her and pull her to the center, and there won't be as much chaos because I didn't like the way that he acted. And that's all I said. I didn't have a problem with his position on the economy. I certainly didn't have a problem with his position on the border, okay? I don't have a problem in terms of him in foreign affairs compared to some of the things that we have been seeing and how that was handled. So there was a lot of things that we were agreeing with. I just didn't believe that that man was the right man for the job because I said the presidency is a statesman's position. I believe that somebody else would have been better. But in hindsight, looking at what has transpired post-election and seeing the level of the groveling or 1 minute or folks on Capitol Hill during these confirmation hearings, and you're acting like you're campaigning. He won the election, and look at how they're still acting. It's all disgusting to watch. It's all disgusting to watch.
Okay, that's a fair point, and I think a lot of it is disingenuous. I think it's insincere. I think these are people that want to always be close to power. Could you imagine if Kamala won and I asked for a meeting with Kamala? First of all, she'd never grant it. To Trump's credit, he did grant it to people that he knows were not nice to him, not kind to him. I think that speaks volumes about him. Here's what I want to know, though, because you feel with Kamala Harris, you believe that you were misinformed. Now, we know her position on open borders. We know she said we should never use the word radical Islamic terrorism. She said we should never use the word illegal immigrant. You know she wanted free food, housing, shelter, health care, education, sex change operations for illegal immigrants, and she's for wide open borders. You know all these radical views.
And again, for the immigrant stuff, how they getting food stamps? Why are they getting food stamps when they coming over here? When you got us over here, like even the regular class working people, like I think I make about 75,000 at my job, but after paying rent and stuff like that, like it's still hard for me to go shopping at the fucking grocery store. So you got these people coming over here and they getting $400 a piece on their food stamps and shit out in New York, and they getting shelter. Now that was always a puzzle to me, and why do we even allow that? Now, yeah, I'm not, and then if y'all do your research, Obama wasn't with that shit. He had that shit on lock, but it was just real quiet. But he wasn't with people coming over the border. So again, man, it's Joe Biden and Kamala. So who the fuck made that decision, bro? So now, not saying like they all bad, but this is. Can we go to another country and do that shit and get fucking food stamps and fucking living? Fuck no. They're gonna send our ass back on that plane or be like, nah, bro.
Put together an entire file called the Kamala file, her in her own words.
Okay.
Why were you misinformed? You're one of the most informed people I know.
But I'm talking about on the left. I know what your position is. Who doesn't know your position? You're one of the most relentless commentators in American history. You will regurgitate the same thing over and over and over again. It's good. It's a compliment. It's a compliment. It's a compliment. You don't stop.
Thank you, Jesus.
I tell people this all the time. You're the most relentless commentator I've ever seen in American history. The same message on point. You never, ever stop hitting people with that message. Okay, so I know your side. On this side, I'm saying, okay, let's bring the country together. We've got some issues. I certainly don't like open borders. I don't like inflation. I don't like safety being an issue in the streets of the United States of America. These are things we have to fix. Make no mistake. So if you got an abundance of Republicans on Capitol Hill and you just happen to have a Democrat in the White House who ain't going to be chaotic, who ain't going to be a tweet in chief or something like that, then guess what? I entertained it. But that's how I felt about it. In hindsight, I look at it and I say, listen, in the end,
let me ask
Trump
you
is in office. He won. I'm not going to root against him. That's for sure. And quite honestly, I'm interested in seeing if he's going to live up to what he said. We're going to address inflation. We're going to address our borders. We're going to address safety in the streets of the United States of America.
He's going to start on day one.
Are we going to return to have a promising future like he has sworn will happen? I'm interested in seeing if he's going to live up to what he has built for himself. It's going to be interesting to see.
Okay, how come on this show I was right about the Russia collusion? I was right about FISA abuse. I was right about Hillary Clinton's bought and paid for dirty Russian dossier. I was right about Hunter Biden's laptop. Earlier in my career, I was right about Richard Jewell. We were right about Duke Lacrosse. We were right about UVA. We were right about Ferguson, Missouri. We were right about Freddie Gray in Baltimore. We don't rush to judgment on this show. We give people facts. And we told the truth about Joe Biden. We told the truth about Kamala Harris. We made nothing up. And all of the legacy media that for 9 years has demonized this man, slandered this man, besmirched this man, allowed the DOJ to be weaponized in ways that had never been weaponized before. How come do you believe their days are now numbered? Because I think legacy media is now dead, and they killed themselves, and they killed themselves because of a political agenda. And
he's right, because like I just said, now I can't look at CNN the same way or MSNBC, because we already know what they're about to do. Everything about to be a hate towards Trump. And again, this is a new term. Like, when y'all think about it, you think he's making all these decisions? No, it's the people that actually know what the fuck they doing, that been there, in the Senate and in the Capitol. So it's like some things he probably got the final say so on, but overall, he's not making all these decisions on his own. So people think it's just, oh, Trump doing this, Trump doing that. No, it's people come together and vote on these things and discuss these policies and stuff like that. So it's not just all Trump. But yeah, the other side of the news, they kind of fucked up. Like I said, I still watch it for, like the regular news, but when it comes to politics, I'm just gonna have to keep my eyes open, and I might have to investigate and listen to both sides and make my own decisions, because you gotta think for yourself, man. Please think for yourself. Don't let, I know your parents and your grandparents be like, oh yeah, we Democrats. Man, sometimes you just gotta see what's going on and then make your decision based upon that. It's okay to be a conservative, if you want to be, it's okay to vote. Like, you don't got to be tied down to one party, but you need to find out what works for you and what works, like what benefits you. Everything benefits people in a different way. So, and right now, at this point in time in life, some of his policies are fitting, and I don't know. I just want to see where the next 4 years are going to go. Is it going to be dumb headlines every fucking day, every time he do something, or are we just going to ignore that and just focus on what he do as a president? Because we don't need to have news about him tweeting every fucking day again, or we don't need that again, man. Let's just focus on the presidency this time, and let's just see what he does. And then if he start fucking up, then we could come back and do what we do. But right now, it officially been 24 hours, so it's one whole day since he been president. So yeah, let's just see.
Dishonesty. Am I right or am I wrong?
I think you're closer to being right than wrong. I think legacy media is in a world of trouble based on your description of it. And I'm not about here to dole out sympathy cards. There's no excuse for it. In the end, if you are in the media and you pride yourself on being a journalist, the first objective is to know as much as you can. Secondly, to be honest about what you know and you don't know. And you can be subjective in what you would like to receive, but ultimately you have to be an objective grabber of the information and make sure you're disseminating that to the masses. And what we've seen is people take an agenda spin. You make sure the world knows you're not a journalist, that you're out here, this is who you feel, you are a staunch conservative, these are what your beliefs, this is what you stand on, fair enough. If somebody on the left does that, that's fine too.
Can I interrupt?
But we have to. Okay, go ahead.
Can I interrupt on
that?
Sure,
please, go ahead.
Okay, I'm a member of the press, Stephen A., like you're a member of the press, okay? I can produce thousands of hours of straight news, thousands of hours of investigative reporting. We reported on Kamala in her own words when the rest of the media this election ignored it. That is on them. They failed the American people. I give opinion, but I'm open, I'm up front, I'm a conservative. I voted for Donald Trump. I didn't hide a thing. And then we talk sports, which makes you crazy, and culture. Woke, we talk about all of it. So I'm like an entire newspaper. They claim they're journalists. They're not. The people at fake news, CNN, those conspiracy theory peddling idiots on MSDNC, they're not journalists. They are left-wing radical talk show hosts. You are far more honest on your worst day than they could ever dream to be.
Okay, but let's take into account, and I'm not going to get into your competition because you always talk about MSNBC and CNN. I'm not going to go there. What I will say to you,
not my
however, is this,
competition.
But he's right, man. Stephen A. said something that they would never say, and it's just fucking news. It's just speaking the facts. You can speak the facts, but like I didn't know these news stations. You got to pick a side. I didn't know the news stations was Democratic, fucking Democrat and Republicans. I just thought it was supposed to be fucking news.
In no way, yeah, you're right about that, but in no way defending anybody. What I would say to you is this. The industry turned, if we're being quite honest with it, when it became profitable to turn that way. The reality is that I came up in the industry, you writing for the newspaper industry, you're lucky to make $75,000 to $90,000 a year at one time. You're in radio, a few $100,000. Now you're in a position where it's millions and millions upon millions of dollars out there to be had. And there's a lot of people in the media and outside of the media that have fallen for that hook, line, and sinker. And to be a pundit, to be a partisan pundit, they deem far more profitable. You bring up the George Soros of the world and others, right? And how, they funnel money for certain causes or what have you. Well, who the hell you think is getting some of that money? I mean, people are getting paid to disseminate opinions and things of that nature. That's not to say they're faking about what they feel, because if they have an objective against somebody else, they're certainly going to exercise that to the best of their ability. But in the end, what you're pointing out is that it has done America a disservice. Because let me tell you something right now. This is what I said, and I'm going to bring up the confirmation hearings again when I say this. Donald Trump, there's no way in hell that I think that the man is innocent of every single little thing, nor do I think he's guilty of every single thing they said. What I will say is this. The man won the election. The American people have spoken. What the hell are you doing on Capitol Hill, acting like you're still on the campaign trail, talking about him like there are votes at stake? He's your president now. You have to sit up there and say, I hope he does well for this country. I hope he does the kind of things he says he's going
You know
to
what I need to do?
make our country better again. I hope those things happen. You can't be rooting against him because you don't like him at the expense of the United States of America. We have gotten to that point in our society where you have too many people that are doing that, and that's the real problem in America. That's what you're really talking about.
Think for yourself, America. Think for yourself.
All right, I am going to make it my mission to somehow, one day, hopefully, bring you and Donald Trump together. Not you making the move. I will be the peacemaker. The Bible says, "Blessed art the peacemakers." I want to be one. I'll say one last thing about the media. The people that survive in media will be people that tell truth, and you're one of them. You'll always do well, and that's why you're my dear friend.
Anyway, again, like I said, these are just my opinions based upon what I'm seeing, based upon the life that I live, based upon the environment that I'm in. So again, like, not saying I'm right. Obviously, I'm not saying I'm right, but it's just my opinion on how I feel. But yeah, I just want to see how it's going to be this time, and yeah, like, cause I know what to expect now after him being in office last time. And it was a circus show, news every fucking day, and then him tweeting. It was everything he did was always on the news, and so I just want to see how we're gonna carry it this time. So it's day one. Just stay tuned to this channel and let's see how I feel over the next 4 years. Anyway, it's your boy, You Just Got Juice. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do so. Like and leave a comment below. And again, I'm on this journey. I'm just trying to get my page up, get some subscriptions and some views and stuff like that. So if you like what you see or you got anything taking me on about, let me know. Anyway, catch you guys next time. And remember, you got the juice now. And we are out. Boop, 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 boop. Do, do, do.